Welcome to Sanctuary Growth Cast, Episode 4.
Welcome back, Growthcast Episode 4, and we have Bill returning, Will Bennett. Really excited to have him back, the new team.
Yeah, what's going on, boys?
Not much.
Not much.
So today, just to cover off on what we're going to go through, we're just going to talk about Bill's experience in the gym, what the benefits he's gotten out of it, and things he enjoys about the sanctuary. We're going to talk about what he's currently doing in terms of his training, being a powerlifter. And then as Bill is one of our group class coaches, we're going to go through the style of coaching he does for those classes and how that can benefit a lot of other people. So over to Bill. I guess we had that one last year with him, but we'll just get to know you a bit more. So where are you from, Bill? And just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sweet. Before we get started, big shout out to Jade behind the cameras.
Yeah, the man.
Putting in the work.
Good to see.
We wouldn't be allowed to do a lot of this stuff without him. So, big shout out to him, man behind the camera. I'm from Brisbane. Moved around quite a bit as a kid, but born in Brisbane, pretty much born and raised here. Went to high school here, bounced around primary schools a bit, but, found my way back and now we're here at the gym. Don't see myself leaving anytime soon. But yeah, that's kind of me. Powerlifter from Brisbane. At uni, studying nursing. It's going well. Second year of that. I'm getting ready for my first placement and stuff.
Cool.
Which is good. I'm enjoying it. Getting the work done is another story.
I feel that.
Yeah. It's interesting, but yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
It's a lot of work.
It's good. It's like that growth you see, like with studying. It's like it is hard work, but it's very fulfilling.
It is.
Studying.
It is.
Grinding through it.
And mid-sem is right around the corner, mid-sem break, so that'll be a nice little weight off the shoulders for a bit.
And when did you get into coaching?
So I did my Cert 3 at school. It was one of my subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to smash that out, grade 11 and 12, and pretty much straight out of school, my Cert 3 teacher, we were pretty good mates. We were boys. Mm-hmm. He shot me a text like a couple months after I graduated and was basically like, I'm training at F45. The boss wants someone. Yeah. I think it would be a really good opportunity for you.
Yeah.
And so I just jumped on it straight away. I wanted to get into the industry as quick as possible because I just needed a foot in the door. And then getting that foot in the door at F45, it was good at the start. And then I think I just kind of outgrew that role of being an F45 trainer.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
Just in terms of learning?
Oh, yeah. It's just like very robotic. Like great. It's great for people if, that's what you're into. Yep. But it just wasn't for me.
Just following the workout off a screen?
Yeah, literally. You're just getting the workout, giving it to people. You're just a middleman. You're not really a coach. Yep. Kind of just a professional hype man.
Yeah. No offense.
No offense, F45. You guys are killing it. But we're coming for you. Coming for you.
So what interested you to get into coaching? Is that your own training?
Yeah, I think it was. Trained a lot during school to develop myself as an athlete. So playing a lot of sport, like athletics, volleyball, track and field stuff. Yeah. During school, and that was kind of my thing. Like, I want to be an elite athlete. This is how I get to the next level. Yeah. It's putting the work in the gym. Yeah. So it transfers onto the field.
So were you doing strength training for that?
Yeah, so we had, I don't know, you guys heard of acceleration?
Is that when you just go faster and faster?
Yeah, kind of. No, they're like a exercise science, they're all qualified exercise scientists, but they kind of branch out to schools and work just do the gym for different schools. So 8 to 10, we had the acceleration guys come through, and they kind of seeing what they did really sparked my interest in how they write programs, train people, and look at all the stuff behind training instead of just going to the gym and kind of picking random stuff out and just doing that and learning how to actually progress in the gym.
Did that translate well over to your performance?
It did. It did.
Because I've never trained for I've never.
It did. It
trained for
really
that
did.
reason.
And then I feel like with powerlifting now, I'm really grateful that I did do a lot of that athletic-based training.
Yeah.
Because it developed that foundation of fast twitch.
Mm-hmm.
We move everything fast. This needs to translate onto the field so we can go faster. A lot of the times where I would fall short as an athlete, especially playing rugby, was my speed.
Really?
Yeah, so like
I'm confused by that because you seem very fast.
yeah, so as a kid, like I wasn't the fastest kid, so that really gave me it was always I'm going to be the fastest kid possible.
Motivated you.
Yeah, motivated me in rugby, and then I did both my shoulders, so like tore my labrum in one shoulder, did the other shoulder. Physio was basically like, you're going to need 2 shoulder recons by the time you're 18.
Wow.
So I was like,
I didn't know that.
yeah, so like anterior dislocation on my left shoulder, I think it was posterior on my right. So like,
All from footy contact.
yeah, just playing contact sports, always a rugby kid, and then kind of realised if I keep going down this route, yeah, maybe I'll play some high level footy, but I'm not going to
At the cost of your body.
Yeah, it's at the cost of my body. So then picked up volleyball, absolutely fell in love with volleyball.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like I dropped that last year, but like ever since been playing volleyball since grade 8.
Yeah.
And then my other sport was track and field. So like I was planning on doing the decathlon outside of school.
Yep.
Gassed myself up a bit. I was track and field captain in year 12. Just gassed myself up a little bit there. But yeah, that and then seeing how like track and field training is pretty much gym training, if that makes sense. Like you go down to the track, you do sets of sprints.
Yeah.
It's the same as training in the gym.
Yeah.
Or like I was a thrower, so throw like Adzi, through discus, through jab, through shot. It's all do 20 reps of this type of throw, 20 reps of this type of throw, 20 reps of this type of throw, and then that's your session done.
Yeah, because I guess like as a school kid, being that age, like you can training is training, but it's like the more so of like doing a set, or you learn like I have to do this much work and then I need a rest, and then I change it up and do this. So that would translate into anything.
Exactly.
Gym training, powerlifting, anything.
Yeah.
Whether it be track and field, if you're running, it's like you do a set amount of work.
Yeah.
And then you do something else to like better yourself as an
Yeah,
athlete.
so linking that back to why I kind of became a coach, it was all that I kind of realised that in all these areas of sport that I'm doing, there's the same principles.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's like they're just applied to different circumstances.
Different movements.
And so I kind of realised that, and then that kind of just sparked my interest in wanting to become a coach. And then that developed into helping people move better and stuff like that.
And does that sort of tie in with why you're doing nursing? That keenness to help people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like, I've always had a very big interest in how the body works. So, like, bio was kind of my thing at school out of all the sciences. Terrible at maths.
Yeah.
So, physics was out. Chemistry just sucks.
Chemicals.
Yeah. Again, pretty much just another math subject. Was not very good at math. But then in biology, like learning the body and stuff, like even though, it's science, it really sparked that interest.
It is very interesting.
And yeah, I kind of always knew that I wanted to work in the like health medical field, whether that be coaching, nursing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then my mum's a midwife, so she kind of pushed me down that route. Cool. And then, here we are now.
So with your degree and your coaching, you're going to be doing, you said you're like part-time nursing, part-time coaching.
Exactly. So like as a nurse, you can pretty much get signed onto whatever contract you want. So I want to be doing 0.6 as a nurse, which is 6 shifts a fortnight, and then just kind of running my own coaching thing at the same time. Because I feel like it's going to be a big balancing act, but if I can nail that balancing act, I'm going to be doing 2 things that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And
I remember when you told me that, I was like, wow, I've never heard of that sort of job before.
Yeah.
Like, you train and you love training, but you're not a full-time coach. You actually have something else.
Yeah, and there's obviously with medical professionals, due to the stuff that staff have to go through, especially with paramedics, nurses, dealing with people in those situations. They're very stressful, traumatic situations. The burnout rates are really high. So if I can kind of have two things that I want to do, hopefully that will prolong my career in both aspects.
And they kind of tie in very well with each other.
Yeah, they do. So a lot of the stuff that I learn in my human health sciences subjects and stuff like that. Sorry for tapping, Jade. They kind of do mesh together really well. And then also learning how to work with people as a coach ties in well with.
Do you feel like it's like you're in the gym, you're doing sort of preventative stuff? And then,
definitely.
And then you're getting to treat, acute
Yeah,
cases?
so with nursing, you just get your patient, you run them through all the tests that you need to do, and then you do a patient care plan, which is pretty much, I guess, a program for that person while they're in hospital. And then the inverse. So, as a coach, I can run someone through all the tests that I need to run through, develop a care plan for them, which is their program, to get them better or move better, fix an injury, stuff like that.
Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah.
And so recently, when coming in here and, working with us in a greater capacity, you've changed more from the larger groups to, dealing with much smaller groups.
Yeah.
How are you finding that? Are you enjoying that more? Or?
Oh, I'm absolutely so stoked. I absolutely would not change my job at the gym for anything else.
Yeah, I could tell you really love it.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Again, with F45, I didn't have my own kind of personal touch on it.
Yeah.
But here I get complete control.
Complete
over
control.
everything.
Yeah, and we trust you.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing.
We don't just get randoms to do our classes.
Yeah. Having
very passionate.
the
and
trust in you guys,
experienced
especially.
for your age.
Yeah. I remember when I started, you were talking about, what is it called? When you're coaching someone, but you don't think that you know what you're talking about?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, yeah. So, especially when I was starting, I was dealing with a lot of that. And, because obviously I'm not studying exercise science. I'm not studying exercise physiology. I've only got my Cert 3. But working at the other gym, Icons, if Curto, Manny, if you're listening, those guys, absolute legends.
Yeah.
They mentor you?
Yeah, everything I've learnt about training has come from them. And then now with the addition of Steve, my coach, having those three people that I can just bounce ideas off, bounce things off. And they're all very straight shooters. Don't dance around any sort of topics. If I've got a shit idea, they're just going to tell me it's a shit idea. That's what I need to develop.
Yeah,
I think.
That's something I noticed with you, very early on when we met, was I can tell you have this desire to keep expanding your knowledge on training. You ask so many questions, you're reading, and you're constantly just trying to better yourself. And that's why we love having you as a coach with the group classes, and having that just that free reign to sort of control that class and make it specific for the individual.
Definitely. That's also a part of the reason as to why I got the job at Icons, because I had I met Curto and Manny through one of my mates who was training at their gym. And then I had my trial shift, and I just would not stop asking questions. Because it was my first kind of role where I had to analyse a person and make decisions for myself instead of being at F45 where I was just kind of giving stuff and coaching very simple movements.
You've got a growth mindset. Which
Yeah.
is probably
That's
the
right.
most
Yeah, that's perfect
important,
way of saying it. Yeah.
It's probably it's definitely the most important factor for the coaches that we select. We don't go out of our way to fill up with 10 coaches to make money, because it's a quite easy way you could. It's more about the brand and having someone that reflects
What you
the
want to
gym.
put out
And
there.
a big part of that is the growth mindset. It's not you doing it for 10 years, and it's quite rare. There's so many trainers, and
It is.
it's the mindset. You can tell whether they're going to be in the industry for a long period of time, just if they have that mindset, or they're willing at least to acknowledge that they don't know things.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
be getting better, because
Being honest
if you're not
with yourself.
if you're not growing, you're almost getting worse. Like if you're stagnant, and that's why we chose you, is because you do have that mindset.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think. The day you become a bad coach is the day you stop learning. Like, even with people like Tom, he's been doing it for God knows how long.
Yeah.
And he's
Just getting better and better.
constantly reading, constantly doing things to improve his
And that's why you
ability
stay
as a
with
coach.
them, is because if they're learning, then you're learning.
Yeah. And that's
that's why you can stay with a coach for years. Like people are like, oh, like I'll get a PT for 3 months. I'm like, well, if you develop that relationship, it could be a lifetime thing, because they grow with you continuously. Like I've had clients. I had one guy for pretty much since I started, and I just didn't have the time, so I referred him on to Jazz because she's great.
Yeah.
But he was there for the whole time, and if there's no way he would have stuck with me
Exactly.
for that whole period if I wasn't continuously educating him.
Yeah, that's why I think I'm so lucky as well. Like having the coaches we have at the gym, like they're all so experienced.
Yeah, you're very lucky.
Yeah,
I wish I was around those people when
I
started.
Like again, having just so many people around me that I can bounce ideas off and use as mentors and stuff like that.
That's what I've
develop
noticed
myself.
That's what I've noticed a lot with the gym as well, is like, I think because all of the coaches have that growth mindset along with the members, everyone's sort of just lifting each other up with that mindset.
100%.
And like, not to compare it to other gyms, but like the growth that we have sort of...
Compare it. No, go ahead.
Yeah, we have grown so much, so fast. Like
especially in the last year or so. Like it's it's gone from this to just absolutely straight up.
And that's because we're just committed to always bettering ourselves. Like that's my number one priority, is to look after everyone, but make sure that we're growing and doing what we need to do.
Yeah, and that's why we have attracted such amazing coaches here. Like we were never in a rush. Like there was periods where really wasn't making much money, and we could have, probably put a bit of effort in, put some ads up, got some coaches in straight away.
Yeah.
But never was about just filling that, because the quality of the gym is only as good as its worst coach. So if you have one person who's significantly worse than everyone else, and they don't have that mindset, and you don't see them becoming an amazing coach, then the gym is only as good as that person.
Yeah.
And that's what we see in that, is the mindset and the passion and the experience with your own training. And, very, very lucky with the coaches we have, but it was just a lot of patience.
Yeah.
We don't see them as, just a revenue stream. I more see them as like brand.
Yeah, well, like they are the gym in a sense.
Yeah, they are. They're the leaders. Yeah. They set the standard for everyone else.
They're the face of the gym.
Yeah, guides, 100%.
Aside from your two beautiful faces.
Nah, mate.
But yeah, that's one of the other things I wanted to talk about was, I think at the moment with the gym, like the reason I came to train at the gym was, one, because it looks cool on Instagram and to the eyes, and two, because you guys have we have the specific barbells, weights, stuff like that I wanted to use. But I stayed because of the people that I met and then the community and the vibe we have at the gym.
Yeah. What did you feel about that?
It was just like everyone's so nice. Like everyone is so nice.
And it's not not forced.
Yeah, it's not forced. I've made that many friends here that it's ridiculous. I couldn't even think about training anywhere else. Obviously, I like to go try out other gyms every now and again.
Bit of variety.
Yeah, get a bit of variety and change it up sometimes. But like, as my home gym, it's like this is the place for me to be.
I very much feel the same. I felt that very, very quickly when I came over. It was just like a sense of belonging for me, and the people, the best fucking people. And like I now find myself hanging out with people I've met at the gym, outside of the gym, all the
so
time.
Cool.
Yeah, all the time. Made so many friends. Shout out to the boys.
So cool seeing like people going on camping trips.
Yeah,
people that
exactly.
From the gym
And the Adji's house is just around the corner, so that makes it pretty easy.
Yeah, just near the studio.
Exactly.
Just upstairs. But yeah, man. So let's talk about your training. So people listening, Bill is one of our coaches, obviously, but he's also a sponsored athlete with us. He's a powerlifter, but we'll let you explain sort of what got you into that powerlifting and your achievements.
Yeah, so I kind of realised, like, again, training at school, all throughout school, in my, grade 11, it was actually in one of my Cert 3 classes, the owner of Ritual HQ at the Gap, Tyler Small and Cece.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler came in because he was a Morris boy, did the same thing I did his Cert 3 at school. Came in and taught us all how to sumo deadlift.
Yeah.
Fell in love with sumo deadlifting. And then realised that lifting weights was a sport that I could do forever. And then competed in my first comp in year 11. And then kept that going for a little bit. Took some time off after I graduated because I turned 18. And there were some extracurriculars that needed to be done. And then last year, kind of realised that just over a year ago, kind of realised that I wasn't really doing much. I was just playing volleyball twice a week.
Yeah.
And kind of realised that I was letting my potential just
Slip away.
When was that?
Flush down the toilet. Just over a year ago. So I after I graduated, had a year or 2 years off, and then started...
Just gap year?
Oh, no, just a year off from training.
Yeah.
And then I was training for like 3 months before I came to the sanctuary.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so I was...
You were off for 2 years.
Yeah, wow, I didn't know that, eh?
Because your strength, you kept your strength.
Yeah, well, I think because I had that very solid foundation, that the technique kind of was still there.
Yeah. What kind of numbers were you hitting in high school?
My first comp, I was 74 kilos, so pretty much the same body weight still. But I threw up a 150 squat in sleeves, 95 bench, 200 dead at my first comp.
Wow, in year 11.
In year 11. So it was...
That's freaky, man.
Fuck, 200, 150, what was bench?
95 bench.
95 bench.
Yeah, wow,
Yeah.
true. That's very good, man.
So yeah, obviously developed since then. Still got lots and lots of work to do though for where I want to go. But yeah, that was where I started powerlifting. Never really thought about bodybuilding as an option.
Very different sports.
Yeah,
It's so different.
It's not as performance based, and that's my background.
Yep.
Is performance.
Yeah.
Like athletic performance.
Definitely.
And then powerlifting is a lot of people don't see it as a sport, but like
It 100% definitely is a sport.
If you're a powerlifter, you need to treat yourself
Yeah.
like an athlete.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not
Almost
gonna,
more so
you know-
than, like, you can't get away with it. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
You got to train 5 times a week. And
Exactly.
your food
Yeah.
has to be on
I worked
point
out the
and
maths
your
the other
sleep,
day,
recovery, everything.
and not even taking in work hours to account. I think I'm in the gym training 20, 22 hours a week.
Shit.
I think. I do take quite a long
You
time
do.
to do my sessions, but
3-hour sessions?
yeah, 3-hour sessions usually.
Yeah, wow.
2 hours, 3-hour sessions, 5 times a week. Double check my maths. Is that 20 hours? Roughly, I think.
Give or take.
As I
Yeah,
said,
wow.
maths isn't my thing. But yeah, that's how I got into powerlifting. And then thanks to Tyler Small and stuff, he's obviously still competing, killing it, growing his gym. They've opened up like 3 places, I think, now.
Yep.
And they're just smashing it, doing their own thing, getting everyone involved in powerlifting, which I think is awesome. Like, their ability to take someone who hasn't stepped into the gym before and get them on a platform is like ridiculous. Like, they can just get everyone around the community into the sport somehow. I don't know how they do it. They just make it so accessible for people.
Yeah. They got a good community.
Yeah,
for sure.
which I think is really playing a role in why, or not just them, but everyone, like, making it more accessible for people is why the sport's growing so much at the moment.
It has grown a lot in the last sort of
It's
couple of
ridiculous,
years.
yeah. Like, if you compare some of the numbers that people are putting up now to even 2 years,
Yeah.
3 years ago, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I've done one comp, and
Really? I didn't know that.
yeah, I did a push pull when I was like 21, and like, I came second. If I did that now, like, those same numbers, I don't know if I'd even place. You know, like,
Yeah, there's a lot of strong people out there these days.
But yeah, my training at the moment, 5 days a week. I've got Stephen Day at Perform Motion doing my programming and my coaching stuff.
He's an excellent coach.
Oh, he's awesome.
Excellent
And
coach.
he's an absolute freak of nature.
He is,
Deadlifted 300 the other day, 74.
Yeah.
Watch out the rest of the world.
Yeah.
300.
Yeah, 300, 295 squat, 177, 180
Shit.
bench.
Yeah, he's a
absolute
freak.
freaking
He's a freak.
nature.
187 bench.
177, 180. I
Yeah.
think. I can't remember the
I don't
exact
think
number.
he's human.
I don't know, neither do I. He's
He's
bionic.
He's an alien.
He snapped his humerus.
Him and
completely
Foley
in
are
half.
aliens.
Where?
He snapped his humerus completely in half benching a couple of years ago.
Oh, shit.
And now he's got like 3 rods in his arm.
Wow.
Jesus.
So I'm calling he's bionic now.
Yeah.
Same with
Bionic
Foley.
bencher.
Yeah, and Foley.
Matt Foley's not human.
Yeah, not human.
We'll have to get him on.
But
We'll get him back on again.
he does need to start sweating though, Matt, if you're listening.
Yeah.
I'm coming
So you've been doing it for a few years. So what are you competing in this year? And you just recently competed in Townsville. That's right.
Yep. So last year I was competing in Capo, so a bit different, just a different federation to what I'm competing
Oh,
in
it's
now.
not. It's not APU. Capo's different.
Capo.
Okay.
So Capo is similar to GPC.
Yeah.
So I had a pretty good season last year. Was happy with what I was able to do. But now I'm a junior now, so I've gone from sub-junior to junior. So this year's going to be tough, but that's
Why?
just... Oh, well, Steve wants me to go up a weight class.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a bit of a process to go up and fill out that weight class. So, and then again, as a junior now, it's up to 23, 24-year-old.
Yep.
So, like, I'm obviously very bottom of the age bracket.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a bit of a scrap this year. Kind of just, whatever happens, happens.
Are you going to compete 74 kilo this year and
83.
83 next year?
83 this year.
83 this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
When's that comp?
So I just competed in Townsville, qualifiers. It was an all right day.
What'd you pull there?
250 pull.
Was that under 80?
That was under 83s.
Oh,
I
that's
think
true.
I weighed in at 75.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
So 1 kilo above
And
the
you
next
what'd
weight
you
class down.
squatted 190?
Squatted 190, benched 105.
Yeah.
Missed my last bench.
So in Sydney, States in a few weeks.
Yep.
What are you going to aim to lift there?
I want 600 total. That would be the absolute dream.
What does that equate into?
So I want a 270 pull, so 270 deadlift,
Oh, man.
115 bench, and a 215 squat.
Yeah.
With how Steve coaches, though, he is a big fan of building totals because that's what the sport is. People don't take the sport for what it is. Like, you get ranked on your total.
Yep.
You're not going there to smash a big deadlift.
Yeah,
set
right.
A big 20-kilo deadlift PR because that's not what we do. We
Yeah.
train hard all year round, and then we recreate on the day what we do in our training.
Yeah.
So 600 total is a bit up in the air for States at the moment. I'm going to see how I go next week with my last heavy week of training. And then that'll set me up for a nice week. Nice little deload peak into States. And then just kind of go with the flow, see what I can hit there.
So with your powerlifting comp, after States in Sydney, what do you think? How do you think you're going to place there? And then what's next from there?
At Sydney, like kind of just with my body weight at the moment, just see what I can do, put up my numbers.
It'll be interesting to see how you go.
It will be.
If you do well and you're this low bracket,
Yeah,
that's kind of be dangerous.
What I'm banking on at the moment is like with the numbers I'm putting up at the moment at my current body weight, I've got 7-8 kilos to play with.
Yeah.
So
Which is massive.
as I grow as a person and my training grows, put on some weight, I think the sky's the limit, literally. And with Steve in my corner, at the moment, he's my guy. I've got full trust in him taking me all the way.
Does he do your food?
No, just my coaching. I kind of sort out my own food, just with the help of everyone at the gym. And especially with being around Matt and the other boys at the gym, we're all kind of similarly orientated with where we want to go. Like first time I sat down with Steve, he was like, "What are your goals?" And we just kind of spoke about how telling other people what your goals are can be daunting, because like if you don't achieve that goal, you kind of feel like you haven't
succeeded
enough. So we spoke about like being comfortable with where you want to go and putting in the work to get there. So like worlds is the goal at the moment.
Yeah.
The long-term goal is stepping on the world stage. Like if I don't do well there, like who cares? I stepped on the world stage. I'm representing my country in my chosen sport, representing myself at that stage. And step on stage once, after that, then we're coming for gold or something.
Yeah, that's good. So just getting there is a good goal.
Yeah. So like Brody, obviously, that was his goal, stepping on the world stage.
Yeah.
And he's doing that this year.
Wow.
So it's awesome to see that.
Where is it?
I actually don't know.
Worlds this year, I think Brody's in France.
France, yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah. Cool.
Last one was in like Sweden or something, I think.
Yeah, wow. So it just bounces around.
Yeah, it just bounces around. Yeah. So yeah, Brody stepped on, and then who knows what he's going to do next year. Like his mindset can completely shift to let's go. Like I'm coming for a place. I'm coming for top 10. I'm coming for top 5.
Yeah.
Like that's what I like about the sport is you can just continuously grow into your next goal.
Absolutely.
There's always things to improve.
Yeah, there's always things to improve. There's always things to learn.
I'm starting to sort of get into that interest as well. Like I've always had a big interest in powerlifting, but with the bodybuilding, I was like, I really enjoyed lifting, but more hypertrophy based.
Yeah.
And now that I'm starting to actually pull some numbers and see my technique change and how that affects the performance of my lift, it's very interesting. It's very exciting. Seeing a lift go, I'm bracing this better, or I'm wedging my deadlift better.
Yeah, there's so many metrics of improvement.
It is like you just like, for example, like changing my leg drive in my bench and seeing that improve my numbers.
Yeah.
Is just, it's awesome.
And like numbers aren't the only way to improve. That's what I love about the sport. Like day to day, you're just trying to be better than you were yesterday. It doesn't have to be weight. It can be speed. It can be technique. It can be the tiniest little things that improve, that in the long term improve numbers. So at the moment, I kind of like have always been changing technique, always been changing stuff like that. And me and Steve have been working on getting out of my own head. Like I'm not my coach. He's my coach. He does the thinking. I do the lifting.
Yeah.
How do you get in your own head?
Well, I think it's because I am a coach as well. So I'm constantly trying to break down my own lifting and programming and stuff like
questioning
that.
Why
questioning why I'm doing what I'm doing.
And that fucks with your confidence a little bit sometimes.
Not so that it doesn't.
It
fucks with progression. So like
you'll make a change with that.
I just change every session, change something, and then so like for my squat, for example, like as you guys know, at the start of the year, I just didn't know how to squat with my body, and I always have the mindset of having the technique that's going to give me the biggest ceiling, if that makes sense. So like, what technique can I dial that's going to allow me to lift the most weight long term?
Yeah.
And I just needed to figure that out. And Steve was like, bro, just do the same thing every session and we'll make little changes as we go. And something that Brody said to me really helped was, he said to me and Matt, he was like, if you looked at your lifting career like a marathon, you're in the first 5 kilometers.
Yeah.
You're nowhere even near halfway.
Yeah, wow, that's a really good analogy.
Yeah. And so I kind of realized that, and now I've kind of figured out my squat a little bit and just kept it the same.
Yeah.
And I've just been smashing squats lately.
It's improving so much as well.
And then I was saying to Steve the other day, I'm so happy with how consistent my squat's been. Like, yeah, there's things I could do better, but it's so consistent at the moment that it's just building and building and building and building.
Because I remember you said you were getting a lot of, was hip pain?
Recently I was getting a bit of shoulder pain from moving my bar down.
Yeah.
So I squat with a lot of torso angle. And so it's not a traditional squat. Especially with squats and
So
like
you're hinging.
hinge heaps. Like I'm nearly folded in half in the
Yeah.
bottom, but
Yeah.
it feels so strong there. I've got
Yeah,
very
wow.
long femurs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Especially with like social media at the moment, there's everyone's like kind of got this basic idea of squatting that's the holy grail, like upright torso, knees don't come in, knees go out, stuff like that. But every single person is different. Everyone's going to have an optimal squat for their body, and it's all going to look different.
Yeah. Is that a low? Are you doing low bar?
Yeah, low bar. So like obviously high bar squats, person to person, they're going to look quite similar. But like everyone's going to low bar squat differently.
Yeah.
It just depends on your biomechanics.
Literally, it's
Seeing
so
length.
dependent on
Yeah.
everything. And then when you do squat differently, people are like, "Oh, you're squatting bad. Like your squat technique's fucked." And I'm like,
What works for you though?
"Yeah, I'm putting up numbers. I'm gonna keep putting up numbers. I'm gonna squat like this."
Even like that, even the way like you internally rotate out of the hole.
Yeah.
People be like, "Oh, you're knee caving,"
Yeah,
but you're using your adductors.
it's
out of the
all
hole.
yeah. So something I've realized recently is there's a big difference between knee valgus and active internal rotation.
Yeah.
It's like knee valgus obviously comes from a weakness somewhere in your biomechanical chain.
Yeah.
But active internal rotation is the use of the adductors.
Yeah.
Because like they're obviously
Huge muscle group.
I'm
Yeah.
a huge muscle group for hip extension.
Yeah.
And like if I can use those muscles to get a bigger squat, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says.
That's
If I can
awesome.
get a bigger squat, I'm gonna get a bigger squat.
Yeah.
So training, like kind of shifting my mindset around that, has helped my squats a lot. And something else that I've realized is you're kind of not going to be able to improve all three lifts at once. Like with each block that I go through, I'm going to have more of a focus on one lift than the other. So like I've been really hammering squats recently, and it's been taking up a lot of mental capacity.
Yeah.
And so my deadlifts have kind of plateaued a little bit. But that's just because I've had such a focus on squats.
And your bench has been up there as well.
And my bench is getting a
focus on
lot better.
bench.
Yeah, a lot of focus on bench because it is my biggest weakness. So now that I've kind of hammered in my squats, my bench is starting to feel nice. They can kind of take a back seat, and I can start refocusing on deadlift, which is like my thing. And gives me my most on my total,
Yeah.
which is good. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing with my training at the moment.
That's
and how
awesome.
things are moving.
Do you think you'll get into powerlifting coaching as well?
Yeah, so like I already kind of have. It kind of just happened. So like training with the boys at the gym, a lot of them don't have coaches, and they were all kind of like, "You're a coach, you powerlift. I'll give you $10 a week just to write me a program."
Yeah.
I was like, sick.
That's awesome.
So I just don't do like one-on-one stuff with them, but I just online do their program.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of gotten me a foot in the door with doing that one-on-one coaching with
Yeah.
powerlifting, because
Yeah.
that's very much where my interest is. It's like I don't have much of an interest in doing gen pop stuff.
Yeah.
I like working with athletes. I like
Yeah.
working with powerlifters. And then it's also really nice kind of confirming my knowledge. Like
Yeah.
with some of the boys that I have, I'll do their programming, and I'm kind of like, oh, should I do this? Like, like what's gonna work? But then like I've added 30 kilos to Bailey's squat. I've added 40 kilos to Nathan's squat.
Yeah.
Bailey's deadlifts are really starting to go through the roof, and they're getting strong, which is kind of like nice.
That would be
for
good
me.
feeling.
Yeah, it
That
is a
would be
really good
as a
feeling.
coach, seeing the results.
Yeah, like, and having that confirmed that you are doing something right.
Yeah.
Make sure you're documenting all that, man. Like,
Yeah.
even if you feel like you're sort of doing it on a casual basis, like, make sure you document it, because that's great. Like, if that's what you want to go hard on in the future.
Yeah, it
Have
is.
all this
So I
evidence.
kind of want to start. A lot of it's just like word of mouth, and it's literally just my mates that I'm doing programming for. So I kind of want to dive into the deep end, start marketing myself as a coach, but again with like that imposter
Syndrome.
syndrome, like it's still in the back of my mind a little bit.
Takes time, man.
Yeah.
I think everyone gets that. I think
Yeah.
the best way to overcome it is just experience, is by doing it. Like you said last night, you had one of your members with a back issue that you said you were not as confident with. And then after just doing that whole assessment and that session has given you like, okay, I can actually do this.
Yeah,
I do have that
definitely.
experience, and I'm going to use those lessons now and expand it. So next time you have someone that's vulnerable like that, with like a big injury, you know, okay, I can do this.
Yeah, so for anyone, like obviously people don't know, I had a guy come in for our group classes last night with a bulge disc in his lower back, and I've only really worked with knees and shoulders and stuff at Icons, doing athletes that have had problems there. And so coming in with a guy with a back injury, I was kind of a bit hesitant because it is such
As you should be.
Yeah, it's such an important part of your body that if you stuff someone up there, they're really going to feel that for long term.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of, I just went through my process of doing his tests, figuring out what he can do, what causes pain, and then working in with his capability, but then also trying to not let his injury define him, because like our injuries don't define us as athletes.
Yeah,
injuries are just boundaries that we need to work through.
I like that.
Yeah. So I was able to, put him through his session. He was really happy with his session. He was able to do stuff that he wasn't really confident with, and feel good doing. So a lot of that had to do with his hips and stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. So that was sort of rolls into my next question was, as like a coach in the sanctuary, and what is like your sort of long-term goals as a coach there? Is that we'll have a chat about like what you specifically do in the group classes.
Yep.
How that's structured, like how many people you have, how that's specific to the individual, and how you sort of control that. Just for those people that might be listening that are interested in maybe coming onto the group classes and how it might be a little bit different from other styles out there.
With my group classes, we've got, so Blake runs the morning ones. I do the Arvos.
Yeah.
Blake likes to do a lot of that high intensity cardio stuff, which is great for people to get them moving like that. But then in the Arvos, I really like to hammer on getting people comfortable doing heavy stuff and getting them comfortable using a barbell on their bench, squat, and dead.
Is that something you found has been pretty common between like Gen Pop new beginners? Is they're scared to get under load?
Yeah.
Or they don't know the capabilities of their body?
Exactly, yeah. Like, for example, one of my good schoolmates that just signed up for the gym, he's like, bro, I need you to be there when I squat. I don't want to hurt my back.
Yeah.
Bro, I need you to be there when I deadlift. I don't want to hurt my back. And I'm like, I'll be there, but do you got to realize that your body is so adaptable, and you are like at this stage in lifting where it's the very start, and if you're even just like good technique, not excellent technique, you're gonna be okay doing stuff. As long as you're not silly and load up 5 plates on the bar and try and squat it.
Yeah.
Like if you work within your capabilities, you're gonna be pretty okay.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there about like deadlifting is bad for your back.
Yeah.
And you see all these big injuries. Like I remember I lost all my confidence after hurting my back, deadlifting 2018, I think it was. And yeah, just took ages for that confidence to come back. But now I realise like with the right guidance and the right technique, they're actually good for you.
Yeah, of course. Like there is, and it's great seeing people in the group classes kind of get under a bar and then be like, oh, like, let's put some more weight on. Can I put some more weight on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's put some more weight on the bar.
Yeah.
If you're feeling good, like, come on, let's really start to push and like realize what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And then it's also really good. Like I always ask the people in the group classes, are you feeling stronger? Not in the gym, but when you're just outside,
Mentally.
like walking upstairs, stuff like that. Yeah. Like, is it feeling easier now? And they're like, yeah, like getting down, up and down off the floor, like walking upstairs, like it's so much easier than it was. I'm like, awesome. That's like perfect. That's exactly what we want to happen, especially with Gen Pop people that are coming through the group classes.
Yeah.
So like, my guy Adam one of the guys in the group classes, who I've been working with for a bit now. Like, he had a good base, like a good idea of how to train and what to train. And then, like, after a couple of weeks of being with me, like, what did you do? 140 for like 6. And when he started, he was only doing like 100 for like 3.
Yeah.
And he kind of realized, and we were playing around with proper technique, proper leveraging, like leveraging on the bar properly, using that type of stuff. And he's really starting to push some weight now, which I think is awesome. And then Cameron, Sarah, like all the women that I have are really starting to get comfortable moving some weight, which is awesome to see.
And you definitely focus on that technique. So sort of like how it's like sort of structured, like what does one of the group class sessions look like?
So everyone 6:20 group class will kind of roll in quarter past, loosen up a bit, stuff like that, and then we'll have a chat, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do today.
Yeah.
What I want you guys to focus on. So like I really try, even though it is a group class, I really try and personalize it.
Yeah.
To the person, and I'll always ask, what are your goals? What do you want to do?
And that's a differentiating factor from like other group classes?
Yeah, definitely.
That's good for what we're doing at the Sanctuary is like, yeah, it's a group class session, but it's still very individually
goal so what specific. Is it? I think it's capped at six or eight people.
8.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm really trying to tailor it to each individual person and their goals, and kind of use, like, they all got different goals, but I kind of work
together
their goals in together so that everyone's getting a little bit out of.
Yep.
So like Mondays we squat, Tuesdays we bench, Wednesdays we deadlift, and then Thursday I'm like, what do you want to work on? Let's do that. I'll write the rest of the session, and then their first exercise is whatever they want to get better at.
Yeah.
So like, for example, Cameron and Sarah, who come to the earlier classes, on Thursdays, like both of them want to be able to do a bodyweight pull-up.
Yeah.
So like Thursdays, heaps of back, heaps of resistance band pull-ups until we can get them doing a bodyweight pull-up. And then what's your next goal?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. And that's how I kind of want to go with the group classes.
Yeah.
And then aside from the group classes, like as a coach, I want to, like, obviously Strength Sanctuary, not a powerlifting gym. We're not a powerlifting gym.
Yeah.
We're not a bodybuilding gym. We're a community of people that train.
Perfectly said.
And that's what I think people need to realize. Like, a lot of my friends are super keen to come down, but then a lot of my friends that are girls are kind of a bit hesitant. And I'm like,
is that based around the idea that we are very
that we're a powerlifting gym? Like, we've got some very strong people that train here.
Yeah.
But they're absolute legends.
Yeah.
And they do powerlift, but that doesn't make us a powerlifting gym.
Yeah.
Come down, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, we don't judge, we don't care.
The powerlifters are the ones you want to learn from because
yeah, exactly.
They can't afford to do things incorrectly.
Yeah,
like body's going to break.
Being around those
always
people
getting better.
Is
always expanding their knowledge. So,
like, being around those people, I think, is very good for Gen Pop people or people that literally just want to get into training, because they're so knowledgeable about the body and everything. Just because if you want to be a successful powerlifter, you have to have that basic understanding of the body.
Yeah,
how to train. And I think that's how you really take your training to the next level as a powerlifter. So, like, obviously you can get a coach, but no one's going to know your body better than you.
Yeah.
And what you need to do to get better. So if you learn training systems, like the basics of programming, basics, and even like learning advanced technical cues and stuff like that, is just going to make you a better lifter.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't need to become a coach, but it just makes your training so much better. And your ability to judge your own training and give feedback to your coach then makes your coach better at coaching you.
Yeah, that's right. That's something I've noticed with Tom is like, because we've been together for a bit over 12, probably over 12 months now. And he, like, we spoke about this at the start. It was all bodybuilding specific, and the volume was so high. Yeah. And I just found, like, with my mindset and training, it's like I'm going to give it everything I've got. And if I've got this much volume, it's going to be like working sets the whole way. And I started to just get injuries and niggles, and we found that my body type likes low volume.
Yeah.
So
High
now
intensity,
that,
low volume.
so that's something as someone that has a coach, you need to go, maybe this is too much, instead of saying, I'll just do it because that's what I've been given. That coach needs that feedback to go, okay, their body needs less volume or an extra rest day,
Yeah,
etc.
And like Oren was saying, the longer you stay with a coach, the better they get at coaching you.
Yeah.
So it's like I've only been with Steve.
If they're a good coach.
Yeah, if they're a good
Yeah,
coach.
that's right. Yeah.
I've only been with Steve since the start of this year, so 3 or 4 months. And I've really made some inroads into my lifts. And that's just going to keep going
It is.
as he gets better at like learning, or as he understands my body more and understands me as a lifter.
And your ability to improve your technique is your ability to progress.
Exactly. Yeah. As I was saying, there's a million ways to progress in the gym. It's not all about numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to, are you looking to maybe coach one-on-one setting in the gym once you finish uni? Or are you going to try and float around the group class sort of setting?
Definitely want to, like, I'm really, really enjoying the group classes at the moment.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, as the gym expands, that just opens up more room for me to play with.
Yeah.
And, like, the idea of us growing and then maybe having coaches work under me and kind of having a team of people that I, like, 2 other coaches that I can, like, not obviously, like, not be their boss, but having 2 other people that I can work with that do the classes, and we can all kind of work together in developing this group class into something, like, really good for Gen Pop people who want to get stronger and stuff.
Yeah, that's the exciting thing is, you know, we are, it is malleable. So it
can be whatever I want, or the coaches that I'm working with.
And it's just going to, you know, keep getting better and better.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into Growthcast episode 4. We hope you really enjoyed it. Please share it around to all your friends. And if you are interested in the group classes with our amazing coach, Bill, just please flick us a message or an email. And, thank you. Thank you for coming on, Bill.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for listening to me waffle on for a bit. Follow us on Instagram, William__Bennett, if you want to see me lift some weights.
Shout out.
Sanctuary Growth Cast.